All right. Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. We're ready to jump into another fascinating topic today. And
Oh, I'm excited.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one, too. So today we're taking a deep dive into the world of emotional intelligence,
Hmm.
or EQ, as some people
There
like
you
to
go.
call it. And, we always start these deep dives with some really great source material that
Yeah.
the listeners, send our way. Um, and today is no exception. We've got some excerpts here from Emotional Intelligence 2.0
Oh, great book.
by Travis Bradberry and Gene Greaves.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're gonna like really extract some impactful nuggets from this book for you folks, because this is, you know, it's one of those topics I think people hear about and they
Yeah.
kind of think they know what it means,
Right.
but I think there's a lot more to it than people realize.
Absolutely. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of misconceptions about EQ.
Hey, Doug.
Like you said, people just think, oh, be nice, be emotionally intelligent. But it goes so much deeper than that.
Totally.
It's
Okay.
really about understanding your own emotions, managing them, and then also being aware of the emotions of others.
Yeah, it's not just like, are you a nice person or not? This is really about a set of skills
Right.
or
And
that affect how we understand and manage emotions.
yeah. And how we use them to navigate our relationships and our decisions and really everything we do in life.
And speaking of that, that's what I thought was so interesting about this book was, the potential benefits
Yeah.
that they lay out in the book. And it's not just like, oh, you'll be a little happier, you know? It's like you want to be a better leader. You
Yeah.
want to have stronger relationships.
Yeah.
And I think we all do,
Who
right?
doesn't want that?
And it's really about achieving greater well-being. And turns out EQ
Yeah.
might be even more important than IQ.
Oh, I've always said that.
And it's so,
Street smarts versus book smarts, you know?
right. Like, how many people do you know who, like, they aced all their tests in school,
Hmm.
but they just can't seem to hold down a job or have good relationships?
Right. Because they lack that emotional intelligence, that ability to connect with people, to understand what's going on, to build trust.
Yeah. And so let's jump into these four, what they call the four core skills of the book, right?
Okay.
So we've got self-awareness,
Yeah.
self-management,
Yes.
social awareness,
Mm-hmm.
and relationship management.
Yep. It's like a little hierarchy almost, isn't it?
It's like you got to build on the one before.
Right, right. You have to be self-aware before you can manage yourself.
Yeah.
And you got to manage yourself before you can really
Be aware of others.
be socially aware.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's start with self-awareness.
Okay, yeah.
Like, how do they define that in the book?
Well, self-awareness is really about knowing your emotions,
Okay.
your strengths, your weaknesses, your values.
Right. Because it's not just about like, oh, I'm feeling sad
No, it's deeper than that.
or I'm feeling happy.
It's understanding why. Yeah.
What's causing those
Kind of
emotions?
your triggers.
Yeah. What are your patterns?
Mhm.
How do you typically react in certain situations?
Okay, and this is where they get into mindfulness.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Mindfulness is huge for developing self-awareness.
So I've actually tried some mindfulness exercises.
Okay.
But how does this book specifically connect mindfulness to increasing self-awareness?
Well, the book suggests, simple things like paying attention to your breath,
Mm-hmm.
noticing the sensations in your body,
Right.
really being present in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is that by focusing on those things, you kind of quiet the chatter in your mind.
Yeah.
And you become more aware of how your body is feeling, which often reflects
How interesting.
how you're feeling emotionally.
So like if you're feeling really tense.
Yeah, or your heart is racing, or your stomach is in knots.
Right.
Those are all signs.
Physical manifestations.
Yeah, that something's going on emotionally.
Yeah, yeah.
And often we're so busy we don't even notice those things.
Yeah, totally.
But mindfulness helps us to tune in.
Right, to really pay attention.
Exactly.
Like if you're driving a car and the check engine light comes on, you don't just ignore it.
Exactly.
Right, you want to figure out what's going on.
You need to check under the hood.
And it's the same with our emotions.
Exactly.
We got to pay attention to those signals.
Absolutely. And that's really where self-management comes in.
Right, so once you're aware of what's going on,
Yeah.
then you can start to manage those emotions.
Right. So instead of just reacting impulsively,
Mm-hmm.
letting your emotions control you,
Yeah.
you can choose how you want to respond.
Okay, so that's the difference between, like, flying off the handle when someone cuts you off in traffic
Right. Road rage.
versus taking a deep breath and being like, oh, okay, whatever, maybe they're having a bad day.
Exactly.
And I think that's where a lot of us struggle.
Oh, absolutely. It's a skill.
It is a skill. You have to learn it.
Yeah. And it takes practice.
Yeah. And the book actually gives the example.
Or does it? Of, crafting an important email,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's so easy to just, like, fire off an angry email when you're feeling frustrated.
Oh, I've been there.
Right. But the book really emphasizes the power of pausing.
That pause is so important.
Yeah, just taking a few seconds or maybe even a few minutes to
Yeah,
reflect.
sometimes you got to step away, go for a walk.
Yeah, or just, like, close your laptop.
Right.
Step away.
Clear your head.
Come back to it.
And then you can respond in a way that's more thoughtful and productive.
Yeah, because I think we've all been there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sent that email or said that thing.
And then instantly regretted it.
And it's like, ugh, I can't take it back.
It's out there.
It's out there, yeah.
So yeah, that pause, that's a big one.
Okay, so we've covered self-awareness,
Mhm.
self-management,
Yep.
and now, I mean, these next two are really fascinating to me because it's like, all right, you've figured out your own stuff, but now how do you apply that to understanding other people? Right.
Yeah. And that's where social awareness comes in.
Okay, so social awareness, what's
Yeah.
that all about?
So social awareness is really about understanding other people's emotions, their perspectives, their needs.
So are we talking about, like, being able to read people's body language?
That's part of it, yeah.
Okay.
Nonverbal cues are huge.
Mhm.
Are they making eye contact?
Yeah.
Are they fidgeting? What's their tone of voice like?
All right, so it's not just what they're saying, but how they're saying it.
Exactly.
Okay.
But it also goes beyond that. It's about understanding different communication styles.
Okay.
Some people are very direct.
Mhm.
Others are more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are very expressive with their emotions. Others
Yeah.
are more reserved.
Right, so you have to kind of adjust your approach based on who you're interacting with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And social awareness helps you to do that.
Okay, and what I found really interesting in the book is that they talk about how important social awareness is for leaders.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right, because it's not just about barking orders.
No.
It's about understanding
Your team.
your team, what motivates them.
What their challenges are.
Yeah, what are they struggling with?
Right. And how you can best support them.
And, I mean, even though I'm not, running a company or anything,
Yeah.
I can see how those same skills would be super valuable in personal relationships.
Absolutely.
Right. Being able to understand
Your partner.
my partner.
Your friends, your family.
Hey, what are they going through?
Right. What are their needs?
And like you said, it's not just about avoiding conflict.
No, conflict is inevitable.
Right.
It's about managing it effectively
Yeah, knowing how to have those tough conversations.
and resolving disagreements in a way that strengthens the relationship.
And that brings us to the final skill,
Yeah.
relationship management.
The culmination of it all.
So, I mean, this one seems pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, but it's deeper than it sounds, I think.
Okay, well, how does the book break it down?
Well, it really emphasizes the importance of applying all those other EQ skills.
Right, the self-awareness, self-management, social awareness.
Yeah, you got to bring all those in
Okay.
and use them to build and maintain strong, healthy relationships.
So what are some, like, concrete examples of relationship management skills?
Well, active listening is huge.
Okay, and so what does that mean, like, really listening?
More than just hearing the words.
Right.
It's about paying attention to what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally.
Mm.
It's about asking clarifying questions.
Mhm.
It's about reflecting back what you're hearing to make sure you understand.
Right, so they feel heard and understood.
Exactly. And then, of course, clear communication is key.
Right.
Being able to express your own thoughts and feelings.
Right, in a way that's respectful and understandable.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's active listening, clear communication.
And then empathy.
Great, the ability to see things from the other person's perspective.
Yeah, even if you don't agree with them, you can still try to understand where they're coming from.
Right, so it's about being able to hold space for their feelings,
Exactly.
even if they're different from your own.
Yeah, and that's not always easy.
No, it's a skill.
It takes practice.
And there's this one other thing I wanted to ask you about before we wrap up,
Okay.
because I know the book mentions this EQ test.
Oh, yes.
And I was curious, is it really possible
Yeah.
to actually measure emotional intelligence?
Well, that's a good question.
It seems kind of, I don't know,
Yeah.
subjective?
It is complex.
Yeah.
But the book does provide access to an online assessment.
Okay.
And while no test is perfect,
Right.
I do think it can be a helpful tool
Okay.
for self-discovery.
Yeah.
It's not about labeling yourself
Okay.
or comparing yourself to others.
Right.
It's about gaining insights into your strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so it's more about, like, identifying areas for growth.
Exactly.
Not putting yourself in a box.
No, it's a
Yeah.
journey.
And, I think that's a really important takeaway for our listeners.
Yeah.
That emotional intelligence isn't some fixed trait that you're born with.
Absolutely not.
it's a set of skills
Yeah.
that you can actually learn and develop
And improve upon.
Over time.
And this book is really packed with strategies.
Yeah, it's very practical.
To do just that.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive into emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear from you folks listening.
Mm-hmm.
If you could choose one aspect of your own emotional intelligence to work on, which would it be and why?
That's a great question to ponder.
Yeah, so maybe take some time, reflect on what we've talked about, and see where you feel like you have the most room for growth.
Absolutely. And of course, we highly encourage you to check out Emotional Intelligence 2.0.
Yes, great book.
For yourself.
Yeah, lots of great insights in there.
Tons of practical tips and strategies.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into EQ. Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you next time.